What is up, Brysonians? So many updates, so little time. What's going on, Scott?
What is up?
Stitches is up. It's our beefy boy.
Stitches is up. Yes.
It's our beautiful beefy boy. Lots of good tank love in the reworks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a pretty solid team. Of the five guys that got reworked, that would be a pretty good team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, healer, two tanks, and two ranged assassins. Yeah, actually pretty dope.
Yeah.
So Stitches is our beefy boy tank, and he's got some sick moves. So he's got Hook, pull the first enemy towards Stitches and deal 91 damage. After reaching level 13, the range increased by 40%. So cool.
No, that's huge
Oh yeah.
because um the level 13 hook increasing that used to be a talent. So
Oh,
now it's built in. So when you hit 13, you just gain the free talent,
which makes sense. Like if everybody's picking it every time, you may
which
as well
is
just make it a thing.
yeah. Yeah, which is awesome.
And then you've got your Slam, so deal 104 damage to enemies within the target area. Enemies in the inner impact take 50% more damage and are slowed for 45% for 2 seconds. Dope.
Yeah. So this is a large arc cone of damage, and there is probably a third to a halfway through. There's a little arc in the middle of it.
Oh,
So the
okay.
enemies in the inner impact, they take more damage in the slow.
Okay. And then Devour, so deal 319 damage to non heroic units or 114 damage to heroes, restores 20% of Stitch's maximum health. So this is when you end up in his belly, right?
No, that's Gorge. That's one of his heroics. This is
Oh,
just you just do a single attack and you heal from it.
okay. That's great. Shambling Horror is his trait, so activate to spend vile gas in a large area every second and prevent your movement speed from being reduced below 110% for 5 seconds. And Vile Gas is hitting enemies with basic attacks, or the inner area of the slam afflicts them with Vile Gas, dealing an additional 27 damage over 3 seconds. Deals 150% more damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters, so great for keeping lanes clear. For
Yes.
your heroic, you've got your Putrid Bile. So emit bile that deals 37 damage per second to enemies within, slowing them by 35% for 1.5 seconds, and gain 20% movement speed while emitting bile. That lasts 8 seconds. Or Gorge, you get that sweet cinematic where somebody's inside your belly. Consume an enemy hero, trapping them for 4 seconds. When Gorge ends, the enemy hero takes 274 damage. The trapped hero cannot move or act and doesn't take damage from other sources.
Okay. So the Vile Gas is a major part of his kit. That's basically his wave clear, is the Shambling Horror and Vile Gas. With Slam too. But he's got a lot of talents that will proc off of Vile Gas.
Very cool.
Now I do have two builds for him. I have a very safe tanky one, and I have one that is still tanky. He's tanky, period, but it's a little more aggressive. It allows you to be more aggressive. So what
Okay.
I would say, if you go into a match and you're the only tank, then go with the tanky build probably. Unless you have some more bruisers or something, that would be fine too. Um, or if there's two tanks or several bruisers, then you can go with the more aggressive one. And we'll start with that one. We'll start with the aggressive.
With the aggressive build? Okay. And then reminder, Brassonians, we've never gone through this character build before, so this will be a little bit more in depth of a character
This, will-
build.
this, yeah,
So,
this will be a big one, but I will speed through the second tanky one
okay.
because we're gonna read through all of them now. So we'll um, the second one will be faster. Okay, so patchwork creation. Gain 3 armor, which interesting right off the bat. We're gaining armor. We're not gaining spell armor. We're not gaining physical armor. It's just armor. I have not tried this one out yet, but if Johanna had this on her basic attacks for her lone talent, then I would say we can argue and it might be viable.
Oh, okay.
So, but it sounds like he's getting armor for both things because it doesn't specify which armor he's getting, so I have to assume he's getting both, which is very nice. Um, okay, so he gets 3 armor for every unit afflicted with vile gas, stacking up to 8 times. So that's 24 armor. Yes, 24 armor. While Shambling Horror is active, this armor amount is doubled. So you pop Shambling Horror in a team fight, and now you have up to 48. So you'll almost be taking half damage while that is up. And then
Oh,
passively, your regeneration and all healing received is increased by 15%.
ooh.
So this one is pretty solid, especially if it does. Sitches is hard. A lot of his shit is good. So I'm gonna try and shrink it down, especially since they're going over 2. But um, that might be hard. So this one's solid, especially if the armor is truly both types. For the aggressive build, I say savor the flavor. Um, so hitting an enemy hero with Devour increases Stitch's health regen by 1.5 and the damage of vile gas by 2%, stacking up to 100 times. Um,
Oof.
the bad part is this is a little hard to do, kind of, but the rewards, 200% total for vile gas, and then 150 health regen per second. Massive.
Yeah, that's
Super,
just
super massive.
gross. Yeah, so good.
Yes. So this is a very slow start, but this lets you stay, kind of like our goal with Joanna, this lets you stay in the lane longer. Even if you have to back off or while you're walking from lane to lane, you're going to be healing because that's what that health regen does. So you're just going to be healing more frequently, and then that vile gas buildup is going to help you clear waves faster. The problem with this, though, is you have to hit an enemy hero to make this work. So
Okay.
you're going to want to do this if you're going to be good with team fights. In emergencies, you can use your Devour on a minion just to get the health if you really need it. But you're only going to get the quest bonus if you do it on a hero. This is not a new quest, and this is one that I would run pretty frequently, and it's not that hard to get these on heroes frequently.
Yeah, to really get some benefit out of it. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Um, and then Hungry for More. This is very good. This is what I would use for the tanky build. So what this does is you get 5% movement speed, which a tank moving faster is always good. Every time you get a regen globe, you increase your max health by 30.
And that doesn't stop?
There's no cap.
Oof.
So the one match I did the last time I checked, I was at 840 extra health.
Jeez.
So, which stacks nice with the movement speed, so now you can get to the globes faster and do your lane rotations a little bit quicker. Now your reward, every 20 globes gathered permanently increases Stitch's movement speed by an additional 5%. And there's still no cap on it.
So here's a dumbass question. Gathering, does that mean I have to physically go get the globe? Or, like, if you pick up the globe but I'm near you, that counts as me getting a globe?
Correct.
Okay.
So when you get a globe, it'll break apart, and anyone in that radius will get the effects of that globe. As long as that happens, as long as you get the healing regen from a globe, so you or an ally get the globe, and you're in range, if your ally gets the globe, that counts.
Okay, cool.
So this one is amazing as well.
Very cool.
No, I haven't checked with on the pro scene to see if one of these is truly better than the other. Um, but right now, excuse me, sorry, keep burping. I'm just keeping them separate because there's kind of my aggressive build is built all on the Devour.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so hunger for more. We'll come back to you. Savor the flavor is what we're gonna go with.
Okay.
Uh, tier 4 is we got playtime. So basic attacks reduce the cooldown of slam by 0.75 seconds and restores 5 mana. Hitting heroes with the inner area of slam reduces its cooldown by a full second. So this is great. Slam is just his core thing. It's got a really big range to it, so you can always hit enemies with it pretty easily. That inner circle is a little bit harder, but it's going to be a very important wave clear for you. So this one is always good. It just keeps your damage pumping out faster. Vile Cleaver, basic attacks against enemies with Vile Gas deal 75% more damage and spread Vile Gas to nearby enemies.
Dope.
It sounds good. It sounds very good. I just don't know how practical it will really be. I don't know what the spread is.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you need, this sounds like a good wave clear option, and it probably is if you want to conserve mana, but by doing playtime, your slam getting more slams, that's going to be better of a I think that's going to be a stronger crowd clear
Okay.
because the basic attacks reducing the cooldown of slam does not have to be on heroes. If you do hit a hero with the inner circle, it decreases it more. Um, but it's just basic attacks, period. So you can take on a minion wave with basic attacks and get your cooldown back faster for slam. And I think slam's going to be a stronger crowd clear than Vile Cleaver. Tenderizer, basic attacks against enemy heroes, slow by 25% for 2.5 seconds, which is really nice for a basic attack to do that, and restore 2% of your max health. So this one is also good. Since this is our aggressive build, I'm going with playtime. I think playtime's going to be the strongest aggressive choice.
Okay.
For 7 here. Serrated Edge. Hitting an enemy hero with hook deals bonus damage equal to 5% of their max health. It reduces hook's cooldown by 5 seconds and restores 35 mana. Now, I mean, this is excellent. The problem is, hook is a skill shot, and not only when you commit to the attack, you actually need to sit through the animation of him throwing the hook out and hit your target. So you can miss this pretty easily.
Okay.
So hook is a great move, and the perks from this talent are really nice, especially at level 20. There's another hook talent where it reduces the cooldown by another 5 seconds. So being able to hook, having 10 seconds off of your hook's cooldown is really great. But for me, I miss with hook too frequently to spend a whole talent on it.
Makes sense.
And then second helping here is our loan.
Bum, bum, bum.
So first, Devour gains 1 additional charge with a 6-second cooldown between uses. So you can't spam 2 right away, but a 20-second cooldown move, you now have 2 charges of it. So you can do it within a 6-second period. And that's great just in its own. So because our talent, we need to land Devour on heroes to increase our health regeneration and our Vile Gas damage. So now in a team fight, we can pop 2 of these pretty quickly. So that's great. Then the lone part of it is if Sitches is at max health after using Devour, he gains a shield equal to 15% of his maximum health for 10 seconds. Every death reduces the shield by 3%. So that, obviously, you lose your shields. That doesn't sound good. However, you only lose 3%. So that means you actually need to die 5 times for the shield to go away completely.
Okay.
Which, if you're dying 5 times as Stitches, uh, your team isn't helping you, or you're really bad.
Yeah, what are the...
He, point to point, he has the highest health pool out of any character. Uh, so getting a shield on a percentage of his health is a big shield. Even 12 and 9, that's still a pretty big shield.
Yeah.
So even a 6%, that's still a nice little cushion of some extra padding. So
Especially when
I
you're
feel
increasing
like,
your health anyway.
yes, yes. Well, that's with the other build. So those two things can still go hand in hand pretty nicely.
Okay.
Um, but the bigger part, once I got this talent, once I hit level 7, having 2 charges, um, so Devour restores 20% of your health, which is a lot of health. And now you can do, in a 6-second time span, you can actually heal 40% of your health. I was getting the shield very, very frequently.
Okay.
So even if you lose all of your shield, since we took the level 1 talent where we need to land Devour on heroes, just having 2 charges of Devour, I think, is worth this talent alone.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
So having 2 Devours, being able to heal for 40% of your max health, so almost half your health in a 6-second span, if you die after this point, then you kind of need to, your team needs to back you up, or you need to kind of look at how you play. So I don't want to slam at anybody if you're Stitches and you're still learning and getting better, but we're dealing with a lot of health and a lot of shield. So once I got this talent, I had a couple close calls in the beginning because I was trying to land my Devours. Once I got this talent with that second charge and I was getting the shield, I was pretty safe. So if no one's figured out yet, this is the talent I would recommend going with for this build.
Okay.
But putrefaction, while Shambling Horror is active, vile gas reduces healing received by 30%, so that's great. Especially in a team fight, you pop this, and then the whole enemy team is being healed for 30% less, which is a massive number. And then passively, vile gas heals Stitches for 60% of the damage dealt, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But for this, the aggression build, second helping, is what I'd recommend. Now for his heroics, they're both very good. I typically go with Putrid Bile. So as I was saying with Joanna, your tank is you want to be in control. So you can really fuck up a team fight with Putrid Bile because it lasts for so long, it covers such a large area, and when you plop it down in a team fight, enemies are either going to be slowed and taking damage for 8 seconds, which is a huge time. You can wipe an entire team in less than 8 seconds if you do it right. So they need to decide if they're going to stay and fight in a bunch of muck, or if they're going to run away. And if they run away, they better run away all in the same direction, else you can pick these guys off. So Putrid Bile is amazing. Gorge is also good if you have a team you can communicate with. Because if you gorge somebody, you can just steal the team. You can steal someone. You can steal their healer, steal their tank, whoever, for 4 seconds, and you can run away someplace and drop them off in a spot where they're going to be screwed, and your whole team can jump them. But if your whole team isn't communicating with you, if you're playing with randoms, you may just move a hero and they might just get away just fine. So they're both fantastic abilities. For what we do, I think the more useful, the more consistently useful option would be Putrid Bile.
Okay, that checks out.
13, I believe this is a hard one. 13, Meat Hook. Hitting an enemy hero with Hook heals Stitches for 20% of his maximum health over 4 seconds. While active, basic attacks against the hero refresh the duration of this effect. Oh, okay. Okay, this is cool. This is kind of a nice defensive one. So while you're healing your health in that 4 seconds, if you get hit, basic attacks the hero hit. That's not.
No, I think the hero you hit with your hook. So I think the basic attacks against the hero that you hit with that hook
Yeah.
refresh
Is
the
that even
duration.
a proper sentence though? While active, basic attacks against the hero hit. Oh, okay, okay, I get it. Okay, you're right. So if you hook the hero, whoever you hooked, the hits against them refresh it. Okay. Okay. So I still don't necessarily get how that works because if you only heal for 20% max health, what's the does that mean you will heal for more
Like
if
another
you
20%
exceed the
if you hit him?
4 seconds?
I guess, like if you hit him again, then you get another 20%, which seems insane.
Probably not another 20%. So if you say if only 2 seconds go by and then you hit him again, that full duration would then be 6 seconds. So then is it roughly 5% health per second of this lasting?
Oh, maybe.
So I wonder, this could be extremely powerful. But again, Meat Hook, if you're a great skill shot, then this is a fantastic choice. I'm not, so I don't want to waste a talent, especially a healing talent, on something that I very well might miss. And also, um, we now have two very powerful. We have um, two Devours and a much higher health regen at this juncture in the game. So the healing from Hook might be overkill with the build we've already chosen. Because, like I said, I was getting pretty consistent shields because of the lone talent, and we don't really need to heal for 20% health if we have a shield. Because you only get the shield if we're at full health. Um, okay, so under pressure. Increases Slam's damage by 25. That's pretty nice. And the quest, after damaging heroes with Vile Gas 6 times, permanently increase the damage of Slam by 1 to a maximum of 75 additional damage. So this is pretty cool. Um, I chose this for the other build. However, I got it a little late in the game, but I was actually having a hard time landing the Vile Gas. And
Oh,
I
that's
don't
interesting.
understand why. Because he Vile Gases on his basic attacks. So I didn't really understand why I wasn't gaining more stacks of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I'm not really sure. So on paper it's good, but for some reason I'm assuming you can't obviously hit the same guy twice if he already has it on him. So you need to wait for this to completely run off of a hero before you land it again on them, is my only guess.
Okay.
So, uh, then the last one, Chop Chop, which is the one that I chose, hitting an enemy hero with Hook or activating Shambling Horrors grants 50% increased attack speed for 5 seconds. Um, so I don't really remember why I chose this one.
Maybe just
Attack
because.
speed is nice for sure, but why do we need to land attacks? Oh, I know. Okay, so if we're attacking faster, we're going to get our slam back because basic attacks reduce the cooldown of slam.
Okay.
That's why. So we pop that, and now we're hitting hard, and now we can land slam and dish out more damage faster. That's why I did it. I would say chop chop. Under pressure is not wrong either, though, because of that damage.
Okay, so kind of a user's choice depending on how it's going.
Yeah, kind of user's choice. Even when we get to the next build too, that's actually user's choice too, because I just realized something too. Okay, so 16. Pulverize. All enemies hit with slam are slowed by 80% for 0.75 seconds, and heroes have their armor reduced by 10 for 4 seconds. So this is great.
Super good.
Slam them, they're slowed. They take 10% more damage. Pretty good. Digestive juices. Devour deals an additional 140 damage over 5 seconds. When used on a hero, its cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds and causes the hero hit to deal 50% reduced damage for 5 seconds. So this is what I chose, because obviously Devour, this is pretty much a Devour build. So doing more damage with it and lowering that cooldown by 5 seconds is very, very strong. And we have 2 charges of it, so it's going to be very, very helpful. And then, of course, enemies dealing less damage is also great, too. And for 5 seconds, that's a pretty long...
That's a long time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one, Flare Up, deal 15 damage per second to nearby enemies. Hitting an enemy hero with Hook or activating Shambling Horrors increases this damage by 150% for 4 seconds. So just like Johanna's with Condemn, this is your radial damage. And then if you land one of your 2 moves, then you're going to bump up that damage. So this is good for lane clear. So definitely there is a spot for Flare Up. With this particular build, we're going to want that Devour cooldown. That's the main reason why we're taking Devour cooldown.
Okay.
Or Digestive Juices is for that 5-second cooldown. So Digestive Juices is the recommendation. And now for 20. Yeah, so Master Hooker here, great name. That's the one I was saying. It reduces by an additional 5 seconds. Enemies here with Hook have 100% reduced healing for 2 seconds. That's massive. And allies hit by Helping Hand, it shares a cooldown with Hook, but you can hook your allies and pull them towards you. So you got to choose with him. Do you want to hook the bad guy or hook a teammate? But if you hook a teammate, allies hit with Helping Hand are unkillable for 2 seconds. So that's a super rescue tool. So this one is the other 3. Again, so with Master Hooker here, again, I missed too much with Hook to make me feel confident where, like, none of the Hook talents are so fantastic where I feel like, yeah, I can definitely sacrifice a less consistent talent to do a Hook. And if I miss it, it's a huge bummer. But, yeah, so we're just going to ignore Master Hooker here. Okay, so Gift from the Emballer. If we choose Putrid Bile, deals 100% more damage to heroes, which is great. And now each time Putrid Bile damages an enemy hero, the duration of Sitches' next death timer is reduced by 2% to a maximum of 80% total reduction. All stacks of this effect are lost upon death. So every time you damage a hero, it's gonna bring you back faster. So it's cool. However, since we have the lone talent, we definitely want to keep our shield. So our goal is to never use the quest. We don't want we don't. I mean, it's great. It's always great to come back faster. So that's never wrong to do. But this just the quest, the extra damage is great, but the quest part of it just is counterintuitive to our lone quest.
Well, and by this late in the game, shouldn't we be pretty, like, unkillable?
At this, yes. At this point too, you have either lost your shield, which then it doesn't matter what you do, or you are just a Titan steel wall and no one is taking you down. Then if you choose Gorge, this isn't bad either. 4 seconds after using Gorge, um, you can teleport a short distance to additional targets, and you can gorge them as well. So you can get multiple guys,
That's cool.
which is pretty cool. Um, what I chose is Gas Bag. Activating Shambling Horrors grants Unstoppable for 3 seconds, which is nice. And then passively, the cooldown is reduced by 20 seconds.
Okay.
Which, what is it currently? 60 seconds. So, um, yeah, the other one, so I would say overall his 20 talent is maybe a little bit on the weaker side. So Gas Bag, the Unstoppable is great. That's kind of the main reason why we're doing it. But 20-second cooldown is pretty sweet. So that's a third of the cooldown's gone. So I think Gas Bag's probably the best one. Because we get several procs by activating Shambling Horrors, I believe, on some of our talents here.
Yeah.
So being able to do that more frequently, and then have Unstoppable, so we can just walk through any mess, is, I would say, probably the better bet. So that is build 1. So we'll just skim through build 2 here really quick.
And this is the tank build.
This is going to be more of a tanky, beefy build. So this is more, you're going to stay with your team, take the hits, play the objective. So this is your beefcake build. Where pretty much if you miss an enemy with your hook, you're not really going to chase them down. And we're going to start off with Hungry for More.
Okay.
So this is the one where we're going to increase our max health per globe, and every 20 globes increase our max speed with that beautiful no limit. So
yeah,
this is
forever and ever, amen.
Yeah, super great. Now for this next one, I chose Tenderizer. So basic attacks will slow the enemy heroes by 25%, which is great. So now you're setting up your team to take out these heroes, and you're going to restore 2% of your max health.
Just super hard to kill.
That is the other bit, is we are going to try to stay in the fights as long as possible. So we're going to go Tenderizer. For 7, I chose Putrefaction. So Shambling Horror is active. Enemies will be healed by less. So to give you the advantage in those team fights. And then Sitches will now also be healed passively, so you always have it. But he'll be healed by the 60% of the Vile Gas damage.
Okay.
So that's going to add us even more, because our basic attacks apply Vile Gas anyway. Same rules apply for 10. If you're with a team, you can use Gorge. If you're queuing solo, Putrid Bile. 13, this is the one where we can kind of mix and match. So I chose Under Pressure. This is the one where 25 damage to slam. You can increase that damage by landing Vile Gas 6 times on heroes. This is why I chose it, because we want Vile Gas on enemies to heal from Vile Gas. That's why I thought this would be a good choice. But this was, when I used this build, that was the match I had where I was having a hard time getting stacks of this. So this is still good. It's still viable. We want slam damage is going to be nice, especially because we're going to be less aggressive now with this build. Hopefully we can get those 6 stacks better, because we're going to be more focused on team fights. Your other option, though, so this is going to help us heal from Vile Gas a little bit more frequently. Chop Chop actually will be a good choice too, because while activating Shambling Horrors or landing a hook, we get that increased attack speed. And thanks to Tenderizer, we heal from our basic attacks. So both of these will be helpful.
Okay.
So you're either getting more heals from your basic attacks, or we're just getting more benefit from doing Vile Gas heals. So I would say, if you're in good control of the match, go with Under Pressure. If you're getting chopped down kind of rough during team fights, go with Chop Chop. Because overall, I think Chop Chop is going to give you more healing with Tenderizer than because you're not actually increasing the healing of Vile Gas with under pressure. We're just making it to where we get more bonuses from applying Vile Gas by strengthening our slam.
Okay, makes
So
sense.
yeah, so if you're doing good under pressure, if you need more health, Chop Chop. For 16, um, I went with Pulverize, so all enemies hit with Slam are slowed, and heroes have their armor reduced. Again, we're going to be with our team more of a team fight kind of situation. So this is going to cause more uh, negative issues for the enemy team and let our team capitalize a little bit more. However, I did want to. I want to look at Flare Up actually. So that's the damage. Hitting enemy arrows or hook or activating Shambling Horror increases. Okay, never mind. I was hoping maybe Flare Up, by doing the extra damage with Flare Up, I was hoping we would heal more for that as well, but that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I guess kind of the same situation. If you're in good control, use Pulverize. But if you're getting beat up still, Digestive Juices, we don't have 2 charges of Devour. However, if you use it on a hero, you're still going to reduce the cooldown by 5 seconds. So it's a 20-second cooldown. So that's a quarter of the cooldown gone. And then enemies have their damage reduced by 50% for 5 seconds. That's massive. And they do additional damage over time.
Yeah, so all that's great.
Yeah, so all that's great. And, well, they're both pretty good. I was thinking maybe Digestive Juices is the better choice. But I think I'll stick with, if you need more healing, Digestive Juices. If you're doing fine, Pulverize should probably be nice. And then I would say kind of the same situation. I think Gas Bag's probably the better choice. Once again, we get some procs from casting Shambling Horror, so having that 20-second reduced cooldown is great, and then having Unstoppable while activated is also very helpful as well. So I would say that too.
Very cool.
And that would be the safer team fighty tanky build first, Stitches.
The beefiest of boys.
Beefiest of boys.
So I've never played Stitches. Any like super pro tip? It sounds like you're saying it's just kind of you want to be in the lane doing your thing.
Yeah. It will take a little bit to kind of watch him and really pay attention to how how the gas works. So when you start a lane, you either want to slam the guys and spread your Vile Gas as quick as you can, or you're only going to want to hit one guy at a time just to keep that poison on them. You're going to up your damage amount by that.
Okay.
But, I mean, not a whole lot of pro tips. I would say if you're starting out, do the tanky build, because that's a lot easier. And more forgiving if you do die. And then when you start getting the hang of him, I'd say go for the aggressive build. And do that. And see how fun that could be.
Well, alright. Brysonians, like, share, subscribe if you want to see more of this content. We'll be back shortly, if you're following along with our video series here, to do Anduin. As always, we appreciate the love and support, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!